Y'all, buckle up. What started off as a quiet, low-key relationship between rising Altar and B-star D4vd and his mysterious girlfriend just took a wild turn, and now the internet is in flames. Overnight, exclusive new footage from inside a Houston hospital leaked online, and what it captured wasn't just emotional. It was explosive. We're talking tears, yelling, security being called. What looks like a shocking betrayal that no one saw coming. Not even D4v himself. Fans are reeling, speculating everything from cheating to secret pregnancies, and even family interference that might have pushed her over the edge. And it gets crazier. Because insiders close to the situation are saying this wasn't some random emergency visit. This hospital trip might be tied to a fight that happened just hours before between D4vd and someone very close to her, and what's on that video could destroy reputations. Was it a breakdown, a cover-up, or something darker? Stay tuned, because we got the full breakdown, the emotions, the betrayal, the scandal, and what this means for D4vd's career and his relationship. You don't want to miss this, so here's where it all started. Just 3 nights ago, a blurry cell phone clip started making rounds on the internet. At first, no one could tell what it was. Grainy hospital walls, a crying voice in the background, a nurse moving fast down the hallway until someone paused the video at the right moment. And that's when fans realized. The girl sitting in the chair, shaking, wrapped in a hospital blanket with a nurse trying to calm her down, was none other than D4vd's girlfriend. Now, let's rewind for a second, because this didn't come out of nowhere. D4vd, who's known for being extremely private, has kept his relationship low-key since the start. No tagged photos. No red carpet appearances. Just the occasional blurry IG story or a background laugh during a live. But for fans who've been watching closely, there's always been tension in the air. Rumors have been floating for months about her controlling behavior, about D4v pulling away, and even about some secret off-the-record incident that almost led to a breakup back in June. And now, suddenly, she's in a hospital, crying, visibly distressed. And the footage looks like she was either brought in against her will or showed up in the middle of a breakdown. But it's not just her presence at the hospital that has people talking. It's what happened right before she got there that flipped everything upside down, according to sources close to D4vd. And when we say sources, we mean people who were in the house that night. There was a major argument, like screaming, stuff getting thrown, people stepping in to break it up, the kind of chaos that ends with neighbors calling someone. And while no police report has surfaced yet, fans believe it was either D4vd or his team that made the call to have her taken to the hospital after things got out of hand. But here's where it gets messy. And we mean messy. Apparently, the argument started over a phone call. Someone texted her, not D4vd, and she picked up while he was in the studio. When he came back, the call was still going. Now, here's the twist. The call wasn't from a random guy. It was from D4vd's manager. Now hold on, because we're not saying anything illegal happened. But people close to the situation are hinting that there was something weird about the way the two were talking. Soft tones, giggling, something that didn't sit right with D4v. And when he asked what was going on, his girl reportedly flipped it back on him. Accused him of being insecure, of spying on her, of always thinking she's doing something shady. That's when everything blew up. Our insider says voices were raised. Accusations were flying. And then the words came out. I'm not the one sneaking around while telling the world we're fine. Boom. Just like that, the whole room went silent. Because those words, those hit different. Especially after the rumors that D4vd had been seen in law last week, alone at a rooftop party with some mystery girl in red. No photos came out. But one fan claimed they saw D4vd being real cozy with someone who is definitely not his girlfriend. And that's when she reportedly lost it. Started crying, started packing her stuff, threatening to leave for good. D4vd, according to sources, tried to calm her down at first, but she wasn't hearing it. She told him, "You already replaced me. You just waiting for me to walk out." Then came the moment that had people shaking, she said. "I hope you're happy when I disappear, because that's what you really want." 10 minutes later, she was gone. Stormed out of the house barefoot, phone in hand, no jacket, just rage and heartbreak in her eyes. Security didn't stop her. She called someone, not an Uber, and was seen getting into a black SUV that looked like it had been waiting. Around the corner, now here's where fans really started digging. Because someone posted a TikTok that same night, claiming they saw her crying outside a Walgreens near Midtown. Disheveled, pacing, looking like she was talking to herself. Not long after that, she showed up at the hospital. And the footage shows her being wheeled in by staff, with a nurse asking, "Did anyone hurt you?" And her shaking her head, but saying, "I can't be around him right now." Now, let that sink in for a second. Because while she didn't accuse D4vd of doing anything physical, she did say, "I can't be around him," which raises hella questions. Was it mental distress? Was it fear? Was it manipulation? And more importantly, what exactly happened behind those closed doors that we still don't know about? Meanwhile, D4v has stayed quiet. Not a word, not a tweet, not even a subtle IG story. But his fans, oh, they are not staying quiet. His comments have been flooded, half defending him, saying he's too nice and got trapped in a toxic situation, while the other half are calling him out, saying he finally showed his real face and accusing him of gaslighting her to the edge. And then came the next twist. And y'all, this one shocked everyone. A screenshot popped up on Twitter. It was from a close friend of D4vd's girlfriend. A girl who's always stayed silent in the background, who decided she was done being quiet. She posted, "Everyone thinks she's crazy, but y'all don't know what she's been through. They think fame makes everything pretty. It doesn't. Sometimes it's a cage." And then she deleted it, but the internet is quick, and the screenshots spread like wildfire. So now we got fans piecing it all together. The late-night studio sessions. The weird distance in D4vd's recent interviews. The cryptic tweets she used to post but deleted, like when love turns into survival mode. It's time to go. And suddenly, people are realizing this wasn't just some celebrity relationship falling apart. This was something deeper, and the footage from the hospital only made it worse, because at the end of the clip, right before it cuts out, someone off camera can be heard saying, "We need to notify her emergency contact." And her voice, barely audible, replies, "Don't call him. He's the reason I'm here." Cue the gasps. Cue the speculation. Cue the total internet meltdown. And that's where part one ends. With her sitting in a hospital room, broken, vulnerable, and clearly not wanting D4v anywhere near her. But this story is just getting started. Because what happens next changes everything. We're talking leaked texts, betrayal from someone inside his own circle, and a truth bomb that could ruin more than just a relationship. It could end careers after that hospital footage leaked. And we heard her say, "Don't call him. He's the reason I'm here." The floodgates burst open. Fans started digging deeper. Timelines were being broken down. Tweets were getting analyzed like evidence in a courtroom. And what they found flipped the whole situation on its head. First, a voice memo allegedly sent by D4vd's girl to one of her close friends just 2 days before the hospital incident. In the audio, her voice sounds shaken. She's whispering. She says, and we quote, "I think they're trying to get me out of the picture. I know too much. They think I'm emotional, that I'll mess up the brand. But I've seen the texts. I've heard the convos. If I disappear, just know I didn't leave because I wanted to." Why single quotes all? What does that even mean? Who's they? What texts is she talking about? And why would anyone be trying to get her out of the picture if everything was so perfect? Fans started pointing to the possibility of industry pressure. That maybe, just maybe, D4vd's team didn't like how close she was getting, not just emotionally, but professionally. She had started showing up to meetings, giving creative opinions, sitting in on studio sessions, even suggesting merch ideas. And from the outside, it looked like she was just being a supportive girlfriend. But insiders say some folks in D4vd circle thought she was doing too much. And then came the moment that shifted everything again. A new clip dropped, this time from inside the hospital. 2 hours after the first footage, someone on the staff, possibly a tech or orderly, leaked a hallway cam showing D4vd himself walking into the building. Wait. What? Yes. Even though she said not to call him. He still showed up. In the video, he looks tense. Hoodie pulled low. No jewelry. No entourage. Just him and one assistant. And you can see the nurse telling him something at the front desk, then shaking her head. And D4v. He doesn't argue. He just turns around and walks right back out. Now fans are split. Some are saying that shows respect, that he didn't push, that he gave her space. Others are saying, no, this is damage control, that he showed up just to make sure the staff didn't hear anything that could go public. Especially after she made that chilling statement about him being the reason she's here. But wait, it gets messier. Because just 24 hours later, a burner account on Twitter dropped screenshots of messages between the girlfriend and D4vd's producer, not his manager, not a friend. His producer, messages that include things like, "You know this was never just about music, and I'm tired of pretending when I see you two on lives." The timestamps matched the same week that D4vd was in Miami performing. So now we're HD. So now we're looking at a potential double betrayal with two different people from his inner circle. And that's when D4vd finally broke his silence. He didn't post a statement. He didn't do an interview. He dropped a 3-slide Instagram story. White background, black text. First slide said, "I'm taking some time to focus on my mental health and music." Second slide, "Some things are being said that don't reflect who I am or what I stand for." And the third one just said, "I never thought love would turn into war." And just like that, he logged off, but the internet didn't. Because while he was going quiet, her side was just getting louder. Her sister, who had never spoken publicly before, posted a TikTok with the caption, "Watching my sister suffer in silence for months while being told to stay quiet for the brand. It's the hardest thing I've ever done." And in the background, she used the audio clip from D4vd's song Here With Me, slowed down, distorted, and sounding hauntingly sad. And that's when people started turning. For weeks, fans had been blaming her, calling her dramatic, unstable, a clout chaser. But now, the tide started shifting. People were seeing the bigger picture. This wasn't just about a messy breakup. This was about someone being silenced, possibly manipulated, maybe even used as a pawn in something bigger. And just when we thought it couldn't get any crazier, guess what happened next? She disappeared, like actually disappeared. No posts, no stories. Her TikTok went dark, phone off. Even her friends stopped posting. And that's when rumors started swirling that she had left the country. Some say she went to London to stay with a cousin. Others say she checked into a private facility in Arizona. No one knows for sure, but then, out of nowhere, someone posted a blurry pic of her at an airport in Iceland. Yes, Iceland fans matched the coat. The bag, the nails, all confirmed. And it looked like she wasn't alone. There was a woman beside her, older, possibly a relative, both wearing dark sunglasses. walking fast. No smiles, just trying to move through the terminal unnoticed. So now the narrative is this: did she leave to heal or to escape? Was this just a relationship gone wrong? Or was there something darker behind the scenes that made her run? And what about D4vd? Did he know she left? Did he help her leave? Or was he just as blindsided as the rest of us? And that's where part 2 ends, with more questions than answers. Fans completely divided. And a story that's gone from music, drama, to full-blown mystery. But trust me, it doesn't stop here, so now it's global. This whole situation with D4vd and his girlfriend, it's no longer just internet tea, it's become a full-on spectacle. Blogs are covering it. Spotify forums have entire threads breaking down timelines. Reddit's going crazy. And fans are more divided than ever. Some say D4vd's the victim of manipulation. Others believe he's the puppet master behind the scenes. But no matter what side you're on, one thing is clear: someone is lying. And in part 3, the truth finally starts to leak, because right when everyone thought it couldn't go any further, boom, an ex-friend of D4vd's girlfriend comes forward. Not just any ex-friend either. The girl she used to live with before she started dating D4v. She drops a 12-minute live on Instagram. And what she says has the internet in a headlock. Y'all been asking why she snapped? She starts. And I stayed quiet. But now that she's out the country, y'all need to know what really happened. Because this isn't just some, oh, they broke up and it was toxic situation. This is about betrayal. Straight up betrayal from people she thought she could trust. People who were smiling in her face and plotting behind her back. Now at first, people think she's just clout chasing, trying to get a little shine while the spotlight's hot. But then, she pulls out receipts, screenshots, voice notes, even a video. And it's the video that has everyone shook. In the clip, it's a house party. Low lighting, music bumping. And in the background, you see D4vd's girlfriend laughing with a drink in her hand. Nothing wild, just vibing. But then the camera pans slightly, and who do we see? D4v, and not just with anyone. With the same girl from the rooftop party in La, the girl in red dot, the same girl fans had speculated about weeks ago. But here's the part that made jaws drop: the way he's looking at her. It's not platonic. It's not casual. It's intimate. They're close. He's whispering something in her ear. She laughs. And the ex-friend on the live says this was 2 months ago. They were already fighting. She already felt like she was losing him. And the whole time, he was telling her it was in her head. Now people start putting the pieces together. That voice note she left, saying she was being gaslit. That wasn't paranoia. That was reality. And that hospital breakdown wasn't some dramatic overreaction. It was the result of months of lies. But wait, it gets deeper, because in those same screenshots the friend posted, there's a message from the manager. Yeah, that manager. The one she was on the phone with during the fight. And the text says, "We need to keep things clean until after the tour." She's not built for this industry. Fans went crazy over that line. She's not built for this industry. What does that even mean? Was she being pushed out because she didn't fit the aesthetic? Or because she knew too much? Either way, the tone of the message was clear. She was seen as a liability, not a person, not a partner, just a problem to manage. And then, out of nowhere, the girl in red shows up, not literally, but online. In a now deleted comment under a viral clip, she writes, "He was never yours. He just didn't know how to leave you." And fans lost it. Screenshots flew. Comparisons were made. People started dragging D4vd for keeping quiet while all this played out. And more importantly, for letting this girl speak on his behalf while his actual girlfriend was in the hospital. But the wildest part? she wasn't done. She dropped a TikTok. Face half covered, voice disguised with a filter. But it was her everyone knew. And in the clip, she plays a voice message from D4vd sent at 3 a.m. In it, he says, "I don't know how to... You telling me the girl who stood by him since his SoundCloud days suddenly can't get into a venue?" People started calling it what it was, an industry breakup. One where the artist doesn't pull the plug directly, but the team slowly freezes the partner out until they leave on their own. But she didn't leave. She fought. And that's what made this entire fallout so public. Because instead of just fading into the background, she started unraveling, tweeting cryptic stuff, showing up at the studio uninvited, and finally ending up in the hospital. But here's the twist no one saw coming. A new voice enters the chat, D4vd's mom, in a short Facebook post, which she quickly deleted. She wrote, "Sometimes the heart wants to protect someone who doesn't want to protect themselves. I prayed for this to end quietly, but God moves loud when truth needs light. That's it." That's all she wrote. But that post blew up. Was she defending her son? Was she shading the ex? Or was she finally admitting that something went very wrong behind the scenes? No one knows for sure. But now we've got friends speaking out, side chicks making moves, and even family members chiming in. And the one person we haven't heard from directly, D4vd's girlfriend herself, because ever since she was spotted at that airport, silence. So here we are. The storm's been brewing for weeks, and now it's about to hit, because after all the leaks, deleted posts, voice notes, hospital footage, and shady comments, there's still one person we haven't heard from directly. Her. D4vd's now ex. The girl at the center of it all. The one who vanished after being spotted in that Iceland airport until now. Because just 3 nights ago, at 1:43 a.m., she dropped a surprise. No caption, no promo. Just a 7-minute YouTube video titled, "My Truth." Black thumbnail. No tags, but within 20 minutes, it had 600K views. And within 2 hours, it was trending worldwide, and what she said changed everything. She starts slow. Eyes red, no makeup, just a hoodie pulled tight and her voice trembling. "I'm not doing this for attention," she says. "I'm doing this because y'all turned my breakdown into a spectacle. Because people who swore they loved me watched me fall apart and didn't catch me. Because the person I trusted the most, who I thought would protect me, turned his back and let me drown." You could feel the pain in her voice. She doesn't name names, but she does tell stories. Like the time she says she caught a message on D4vd's iPad from someone close to him, saying, "She's too emotional, bro." It's starting to affect the sessions, and how after that, things started to shift. The cold shoulders, the "I'm busy" texts, the canceled plans, but then she pauses, breathes, and she drops. The bombshell, "I was pregnant." Those 3 words hit like a punch. She goes silent for a second, just looks into the camera. Then she says, "I didn't even know at first. I was late. I was tired all the time. I thought it was just stress. When I found out, I was scared, but also kind of relieved. Like maybe this would bring us closer again. Maybe he'd finally look me in the eyes and see me. But that's not what happened. When I told him," she continues, "he didn't say anything. He just stared. Like I had just ruined his whole career. And then he said, 'You can't keep it. Not right now.' Like it was his decision." Fans lost it. Twitter exploded. TikTok was flooded. People couldn't believe what they were hearing. Suddenly, everything made sense. The hospital visit, the breakdown, the disappearing act. She wasn't just heartbroken. She was grieving. She goes on to explain that she didn't go through with it. Not because she wanted to keep the baby, but because the stress and the fighting and the emotional trauma became too much. She says she collapsed at home 2 days before the hospital footage leaked. She was dizzy, shaking, and couldn't feel anything. And then came the second bombshell. When I was laying there, on that hospital bed, I asked them not to call him. Not because I hated him, but because I knew he wouldn't come for me. He'd only come to protect his name. Double quotes. Chills. Now remember, in part 2, we saw that footage of D4vd walking into the hospital, talking to a nurse, then turning around and leaving. Fans thought maybe it was respect. Maybe he was giving her space. But now, people are wondering if he showed up just to make sure she didn't say too much. And just when you think the video's wrapping up, she drops the final twist. She pulls out her phone and plays a recording. We don't know when or where it was taken, but you hear voices. Her voice and his. It's muffled at first, but you can make it out. He says, "You think you're the only one going through something? I got labels breathing down my neck. I got deadlines. Image matters," she replies, "so I'm just a threat to your image." And then, silence. Long silence. Finally, his voice. "I didn't mean it like that." But yeah, kinda. The screen fades to black dot, and then the words appear. "This is me walking away. Not because I want to, but because I have to." Fans were wrecked. The comment section flooded. Support, tears, apologies. Even people who dragged her before were now defending her, saying she was strong, brave, a survivor. But that wasn't the only fallout, because as soon as that video dropped, people started turning their attention back to D4v. And guess what? His tour dates started getting canceled. Merch restocks paused. Interviews suddenly rescheduled. And then the biggest twist of all, the manager dropped a statement. Yes, the same manager who was allegedly texting shady things about her. He posts a statement on his story saying, "I take full accountability for how things were handled. I never meant to cause harm, but looking back, I could have done more to protect everyone involved. I stepped down as D4vd's manager as of last week. Mike, drop down now." The internet is officially upside down. People are calling it a slow collapse, like dominoes falling one by one. First, the relationship, then the silence, then the truth, and now the consequences. And D4vd still hasn't spoken. Not a post, not a comment.